Hello there, everybody. Brian Schwager here, founder of Wellness Movement Services. I hope you're feeling and moving well. I am pumped, passionate, and empowered. I just finished episode 8, and there was a turn of events between episode 7 and episode 8. So this is a quick preview, and then I'll have another one coming up after this before I launch the full 2-hour presentation on episode 8. So what happened was I was finishing up this book. And in the midst of finishing up this book and adding this information to episode 7, it's now in, I'm also re-adding it to episode 8 because it's relevant. And I was interacting with somebody through messaging and on social media regarding this information, and they said, you need to read this book. So I purchased it, and right when I was done with the Body Electric, I picked up this book, and I'm having a hard time putting it down. And I was already setting up the curriculum or the agenda, the learning objectives rather, for episode 8. And I said, stop the presses because this information is perfect. There are no accidents why I was told to read this book. So I wanted to include it in episode 8. So I had to go in and rearrange my PowerPoint presentation to add this information. Now I'm only halfway through the book, and I'm going to be citing his book in the next 3 episodes to draw a parallel to what we've done to this planet. Our natural biosphere is now totally electrified. And what Arthur Firstenberg chronologically lays out in his book with a ton of research, the bibliography is extensive in this book. I'm going to cover episodes 1 through 6 in a thumbnail sketch because I need to because of what I learned in The Invisible Rainbow, I'm now rethinking heart disease, cancer, diabetes, obesity, etc. I'm rethinking all of that because what we thought, the current state of our health and well-being, as I mentioned, the statistics keep going up, yet we dump all of our tax dollars and donations into all of these agencies for diabetes, cardiovascular disease, and cancer, not being able to get a handle on it. And then all of a sudden, in the last 2 years, they're telling us that they can get rid of our cancer in 48 hours. And they have the answers to everything. They can regrow tissues in labs and all that. And we were doing that. So I will recap that, reiterate what happened since the beginning when I started recording this compared to right now. And this book is a game changer. And then it ties right in with the missing body part. Your body is a cybernetic, bioelectric, magnetic organism, an integrated multi-dimensional system of systems. I keep mentioning that, remember? People need to understand your body's electric here. And they're working with your biofield, your body's an antenna. And that ties right in with the wireless body area network and the medical body area network and the interfacing with technology with human physiology. So this is what we have to look forward to. I want you to enjoy, but I want you to get empowered with this knowledge, share this knowledge with others. Think about, if you're my age, I'm going to be 64 this year. Think about the next generations, our kids, our grandkids, our great grandkids, if you have them. This is for them. What is going on out there with AI and technology is not good. And I'll talk about how we should respect the technology, because if it wasn't for the technology, I wouldn't be able to put out this video. But we have to learn to respect it. And there's some parts I will not play a role in. I will not get involved when I've been asked through my Zoom or my PowerPoint. They want me to interact with AI. I will not do that. I will not turn on my Wi-Fi on my phone. This is only for phone calls and text. That's it. And when I'm not using it, it's on airplane mode and it goes off at the end of the night. We have to understand where to draw the line. Where are the boundaries? But we won't know how important it is until we have the truth. And the truth is sometimes a little uncomfortable, but I'll provide you with plenty of solutions to help you through these changes and with this information that I'm going to be teaching you. All right, I'm Brian Schwager. Thank you very much. I look forward to presenting the full episode for you. I do this from my heart. I have an ethical and moral responsibility to share this with you. All right, have a beautiful day. Be well, bye for now. And like I always say, Mark 5:36. Amen. So how does this work? Well, the body is a cybernetic bioelectric magnetic organism. So bioelectricity refers to the electrical phenomena occurring in living organisms, including, is your body a living organism? Encompassing the generation, transmission, and utilization of electrical potentials and currents within biological systems. Remember, you are transmitting and receiving information from the outside into the intra part of the body, and there itself, it will communicate within itself. That's cybernetics. So I'm thinking that here would be a good time to kind of cover the wideband area network, wireless body area network, because it ties into the frequencies and what we're going to get into with the book, The Invisible Rainbow by Arthur Firstenberg. So this was taken from the beginning of part 2 when I was talking about the future of medicine, AI precision healthcare model that will include nanomedicine and a graphene-based sensor healthcare monitoring system. Intra-communication for nervous system application, current technologies, and future directions. Now, I went into a little bit of detail on this. I forget what episode it was, might have been episode 5 or 6. But in brief, the Internet of Medical Things, IoMT for short, paradigm will enable next generation healthcare by enhancing human abilities, supporting continuous body monitoring, and restoring lost physiological function due to serious impairment. Now, this was back in 2023, and I will tell you, this isn't something that is coming, it is something that is here now. So this paper presents intra-body communication solutions that interconnect implantable devices for applications to the nervous system. It goes a lot deeper than that. And then there's the wideband area network. And here again, here's an image that I will insert here. And this image shows the human body hooked up to the cloud, which went live in 1995. Now, they commercialized cellular phones around that same time. Cell phones were already available to those who had the money. Government officials, they already had satellite phones. You know, wireless technology goes back a lot further than the 80s, ladies and gentlemen. The wideband area network connects independent nodes that are placed in the clothes, on the body, or under the skin of a person. So you wear these Fitbits and these watches, Oura rings, and these other devices. That was, because they can go further than that now, that was a way for them to get into your body. So on your cell phone and in your computer, you have a way of receiving Wi-Fi. Again, when you go on your cell phone and you text somebody, you don't see that text leave your phone. and you don't see one coming back in, it just appears. So then there goes with the air is a transmission medium because it leaves your phone molecularly, travels through the air, and then through the use of towers and these frequencies, it gets where it has to go. Well, your body, your aura, your biofield is that antenna. And what the IEEE did, so what does IEEE stand for? Let's look it up. So the Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers, the IEEE 802.15.6 standard defines a communication standard optimized for miniature low-powered devices that are deployed on or implanted inside a human body. Now, they also implanted them through chips and through vaccines. So there's nano and other technologies in there for sensing and monitoring, going way beyond monitoring glucose and heart rate and your sleep rhythm. I'm not into any of that anyway. I teach people to do that naturally without using devices. I don't need a technology to help me understand that your physiological stress load is high. Let's take a look at that once again. So your physiological stress load rating. So through a subjective questionnaire, by asking you certain types of questions, I can surmise, and based on how you're feeling, I woke up tired today. Well, then I find out you're going to bed late, you're waking up and you can't get back to sleep. Hence, your circadian rhythm is off. I don't need technology to show me this. Sure, it's helpful for EEGs, EKGs, and for medical purposes. I get it. But for you to walk around with this thing on your wrist and you become dependent and obsessed with these numbers, which I will say are skewed, because anything can trip those sensors. You are the sensor. How do you think those things work? How do you think those aura rings and all that stuff work? They tie in with your aura, your biofield. So this went live in 1995. So the wideband area network, the medical area body network went live back in 1995, and since 2012, the human body became a natural antenna and connected directly to the internet and cloud. All right. Now, I'm digressing here, but I think it's a good time to implement this because it's going to tie right in with what they did since the turn of the century with electricity on our planet. Now, if I can go one step further, we can listen also to Sabrina Wallace.
Most people are familiar with their radio, their TV, their microwave. So when I asked people, why is it then that you believe human bodies are not part of electronic warfare targeting? And then here comes a bunch of different ridiculousness. So, is the human body on the electromagnetic spectrum? Yes, the human body, like all objects with a temperature above absolute zero, emit electromagnetic radiation, primarily in the infrared region of the spectrum. So then people devolved again and they said, oh, it's just LIDAR, infrared. And I said, no, we have a lot of different types of weaponry now that use networks in something called network-centric warfare. And people were very upset because of this. What is that? What are you looking at? What is this? What are those? Oh, here we go again. Not today. Sorry. There are plenty of people out there that know very, very well the body is electrical. The body is on the same electromagnetic spectrum as the microwave and radio and the X-ray. And nobody's out there screaming and yelling about any of that. Nobody used to it. Okay. But what people were not told is that your body itself is on that spectrum, and your body itself is a network as part of our warfare doctrine. Right now today, our Joint Force All Domain Command and Control is using with the DoD's backbone, which is what our whole internet runs off of and with. The network-centric warfare is a military strategy that uses information technology to connect dispersed forces into a network. Your body is tethered to that cloud. The same cloud that the Pentagon is watching in order to ensure civilian safety, smart city management, different types of CBRN, chemical, biological, radiological, nuclear protection. See other videos for the Golden Dome explanation with Lockheed Martin, which is an electronic warfare company. And as you can see, the body area network, the wireless body area network, the medical body area network, this technology was started around 1995. It is not new. Therefore, to be respectful to the people everywhere, whether they're in the military, they're police, whatever it might be, here on the channel, we have been educating for almost 3 years now about this. In fact, it's so old, it's a historical collection. This directive is chapter 1, page 6 in the college textbook set that we have talked about for 3 years, because these weapons, these drones, drive themselves. They are autonomous. Now, they're not using a human, and a human in the middle is becoming negligent because the AI is in control. And we went over a bunch of that in 2022. It went hot in 2023, and it's been in development since 2012. Okay. So sensors are what we're using. And modular open systems approach, sensor open systems architecture, weapons open systems architecture, future airborne capability environment.
All right. So what I want to clarify here is we are not dealing with what we thought we were dealing with when it comes to the COV and when it comes to nanotechnology. This is a weapons system. This is a controlled grid. This is a way of getting these sensors inside the body so that they can control you from the inside out. And how do they get it in the body? Well, what did I say? They get it in the body through your biofield. The missing body part that they took from us back in 1910, and just a little bit of advanced information, I'll be getting to this later, that up to 80% of your immune system is located in the biofield, and 40 to 60% of your endocrine system are located in the biofield.